Hello guys, Mr. Silk here. So many of my clients ask me if they have to be extrovert in order to be fun, interesting and attractive towards women. And the truth is, no, you don't have to be an extrovert in order to optimize a way to attract and date women. So let me break it down. First, the problem is that there are so many misconceptions out there. There are a lot of people thinking that you have to be very extrovertic in order to attract women. Because if you are not an extrovert, how can you amuse the women that you are talking to? How can you make them feel excited talking with you? I mean, if you don't know how to make magic tricks, if you don't know how to be witty, telling great jokes, and being this mysterious guy with the touch of being flirtatious. I mean, if you don't have that, how can you even, how can women even consider to be with you? Because you're boring, right? Well, as I said before, it's all a big myth. Being an extrovert and being able to, amuse women in that way, to entertain them in a specific way, is not the main element that's going to make women attracted to you. Even though a lot of dating coaches, dating gurus, and people in general are thinking like that, even though they are thinking like that, that is not the case. Because the science are telling the opposite. And I am also telling you the opposite. In the same way as what I have been taught during my school in behaviorism and communication. So the main element here is actually to make the other person talk, to make the other person express their ideas, their thoughts to you as a listener. So what kind of qualities do you need in order to be a good listener and to be able to reflect back? Well, you need to have a trained brain to be able to listen. Because once you listen, you know how to talk, you know how to express things based on what you hear. But if you can't hear, then you don't know what to express. And taking something that someone said that means something for them, you take that and you start talking about that. You start talking about and expressing your thoughts about that particular thing, and then ask another question and so on. So if you actually are taking the subjects people are giving you and you make something out of it, that is when you become really charismatic, when you become really confident and become like an alpha from the other person's eyes and perspective, because you have a superior skill that no one else have, and that is to really listen to other people and use what they are giving you back to them. And that is something that doesn't really require you to be an extrovert. Many times introvert is better in that part than what extrovert is. Many of the extroverts that I have been talking to and meeting, and my extrovertic clients, I mean, they are way too egocentric. Like, they might not be egoistic, but they are egocentric. So everything surrounds them. And that is actually not the best way to go about when you are talking to women and trying to attract them and date them. It's actually the opposite. Talking too much about yourself bores the women out quite quickly. But if you make the conversation about them, that is when things are happening. And so being an extrovert is just way overrated, and focus more about listening. And you don't need to be an extrovert to be able to be a good active listener. So with that said, there is one part that you need to practice though, and that is the way you actually asking questions. That requires you to be pretty enthusiastic. It requires you to be really interested towards the person you are asking specific questions too. And you really need to mean that you want to ask those genuine questions, to really have the idea of taking things to depth, to learn the unknown about the other person. So you really need to do that. And also when it comes to reflective listening skills, when you reflect things back to them, you also need a certain amount of expression that is clear, genuine, and authentic. But to learn that, you don't need to be an extrovert. Anyone can learn that. So the point of this video is you don't have to be an extrovert to be able to attract and date women. You don't. If you are an introvert, it's fine. You just need to learn how to communicate properly. And most of the conversation you have will be about her. And she will express things to you more than you are talking. So, all in all, don't fall for the myth of being an extrovert. Anyway, guys, I see you in the next video.